Okay, I printed out the manual and the EPC. This is where I got my part number. There's only one part number, and it's 126-460-0819, and that is the part I ordered. The kit does not include this thick washer that goes above the dust cap. You have to reuse the old one for that. The manual lists the torque settings, 35 Newton meters on the tie rod, but this nut on the bottom is 180. I guess they don't want that coming off. The part itself is heavy duty. These are the bushings. There's an inner and an outer metal sleeve on there. And there's the big nut. It's a 24 millimeter. The nut and the bolt is also 24 millimeter. It looks like a 10.9, so it's a hardened bolt. Alright, well, I'm going to get going. I got my 126 jacked up, and I inspected the underside. I'm going to be replacing the idler arm bushing. Okay, this is the idler arm, and that's the bushing. That's the nut on the bottom. That's the lower bushing, and that's the top. You have to disconnect the idler arm up here to the tie rod end. So this nut's got to come off. That's a 17 millimeter. Okay, I got the nut off, and I'm keeping it on just a few threads to protect the end, and then I'm going to tap it with a hammer. That is not coming off. Okay, I'm going to disconnect the center link, and this one wasn't on there very tight either. Okay, I can tap that, but it's just not coming out. So I'm going to disconnect the shock. There is a 17 millimeter bolt on top with a nut there, and I got that off. Compress the shock, and now that's disconnected from here. Okay, I got a ball joint remover tool. I was able to just get it under there enough and catch the bolt on top. So I'll see if I can get it off with this. I'm using 24 millimeter wrench. And I can't tell if it's moving. Yep, there it goes. Yeah, that thing always pops out like that. It explodes, really. Well, got it out. That was easy. Okay, it's a 24 millimeter nut on the bottom and 24 on the top. I got a long wrench on there. I got my gun set to high. There we go. Okay, I got it off. It's a self-threading nut and kind of a thin washer. Okay, now I'm going to try and pound the bolt out. Oh, that was easy. Alright, there's like a ground strap wire I got to work around here, but there's the bolt, and it's coming out. Should be a washer on top here. Yep, kind of thick. And then the cap. Yep, like that. Okay, I've got these large channel locks, and I'm just going to grab the disc like that, right on the edge, and then just turn and twist it, and it should come out. Okay, it is coming out. The bushing's getting kind of squished, but there. That's the metal part. There we go. Okay, the top one, I'm just going to use this brass drift and hit it with a hammer all the way around, and that should come off. Okay, I was hitting that with a drift. It really wasn't moving. So I got these large channel locks, and that seems to be working. At least it's moving back and forth. I'll just keep on working on that. Okay, I removed the steering damper to give me more room to work here. And I'm just using these channel locks and just kind of wiggling that back and forth. Should come out. Okay, I tapped the edge of that with a drift, the metal part, and I got that to come out. Now I got to get the bushing out. The rubber part's still in there. I'm just taking this drift and hitting it all the way around to try to get the inner bushing out. There it is. Okay, I got the top one out. Now I got to get this bottom one out right here. I can't get the drift all the way through the top to get that out, so I know it's rubber, and I'm just going to apply some heat. The bushing's rubber, so if I get this hot enough, I should be able to grab it with pliers and pull it out. Let's type what's coming out. There we go. Alright, got the bottom bushing out. Okay, I sprayed this out with brake clean, and now I got a green Scotch-Brite. I want to go in here and get rid of any nicks or debris on both the top and the bottom. Okay, I sprayed more brake clean inside, got a clean paper towel. And I'm now going to coat it with white lithium grease. Just got a glove on my finger. Get all the way up on the top. Well, that's it. Got all the surfaces clean. Got it greased inside, and now I'm ready for the new parts. I'm using the old bolt and nut as like a press to press in the bushings. You don't want to be using the new hardware for that. You could wreck that nut. Get the bolt started. There, got the top in. Okay, got the bushing started. Get the nut going. I have to hold the top with a wrench and tighten that nut, and it should just press that right together. Okay, I got a wrench on the top bolt and a ratchet, and I'm just going to tighten this, and it should just seat the bushings right in. Yeah, I don't feel any resistance really. It's just moving in slowly. Okay. Yep, that's good. Now I gotta get the nut off. Got the dust cap on, a little washer underneath, and push the bolt down. Got Loctite on the bolt. Got the big washer and the locking nut. Here's the steering damper I put back on. Those get torqued down to 40 Newton meters. The tie rod ends, those nuts are 35 Newton meters. And this big 24 millimeter nut, that gets torqued down to 180. And a blue Loctite on everything. I think the play in the wheel might be the right tie rod. Be the steering gear. I don't really know. I know tolerance is supposed to be 25 millimeters, which is about an inch of play. I don't know, maybe this is as good as it gets, but it's an old part. It needed to be replaced anyways.